Hello, everybody. I'm Madame Sensei. I teach Spanish, French, Japanese, English language arts, and I'm talking about my WANIC summer health class and how I cram a whole semester into 3 short weeks, 3 jam-packed weeks. So I've talked about ideas for vocab games, because the vocabulary, of course, really crucial with anything you teach. I've talked about some of my favorite projects. We have at least one project a day. And now I'm going to talk to you about some ideas for exercise. So this is a health class. Exercise is very important in health. Students come in at 8 a.m. and they don't leave until 3 p.m. And I don't want them sitting at a desk for that entire time. That is not modeling healthy behavior. Now, back when I would drive to this rather large high school and teach summer health there alongside like 6 other health teachers. The other health teachers were like, oh, let's just take them out to the track and make them walk around for an hour. And we did that every single day for 15 days. And I was like, oh, there's got to be a better way because the kids are not really into it. So, I teach a lot of stuff. I have a lot of things in my classroom. Some things we do in Japanese is we do Dajio Taiso. I'll talk about sumo in a second. You're going to say, what? I'll talk about sumo in a second. There's a lot of dancing in culture. My French students learn ballet. They learn la bourrée. My Spanish students learn salsa, mambo, cumbia. They learn so many things. My French students learn how to play pétanque, also called boule. I've got a lot of tricks up my sleeve. Let's just use those at first. So my first few years teaching health, it was like, well, okay, I've already got this stuff. Sumo stretches, that's kind of fun. The students like talking about sumo, so we can do that. My French students, I teach them how to fence. Okay, and this student loved it so much that he went and took professional lessons after my class. So he'd come back. These are my other colleagues, and he's fencing with them. And I've got pool noodles. He brought his good stuff, but I brought pool noodles. I always have pool noodles for the students, and they like that. But that's fun, right? Lots and lots and lots and lots of dance. There's so many dances. These are just some folk dances. I'm not going to do anything really I'm not going to put on the 5 a day in French or in Spanish for my health students, but I can teach them la bourrée. I can teach them some ballet moves. I can teach them cumbia, mambo, salsa, all the fun stuff. Oh, here's some Spanish right here. So cha-cha, cumbia, mambo, merengue, tango. I can teach them that. I can teach them that in English. Okay, but I've got all the flip charts already made for Spanish, so great. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. But who doesn't like to dance? Who doesn't like music, French class, let's talk about boule. Okay, so I'm a poor French teacher. Can't afford the good stuff. I think every couple of years I can afford a nice set of metal balls. But certainly when I first decided to do it, I just took my old billiard balls. Hey, those are going to be our boule. I went to a garage sale and found some croquet balls. Great. Went to the dollar store, bought some hoops. Okay, so, the students love this. Gets them outside. Here's the hula hoop that they stand in to make sure that they're all standing in the same spot. Here's a bag of old croquet balls and billiard balls. And I have to teach them how to hold the ball correctly because they want to do it like bocce ball. Or they want to bowl it. So basically, it's like horseshoes, kind of. You've got a little jack, which I could use golf balls for. Okay, and you throw the jack out, and let's say it lands here, and then person A throws a ball, and then somebody from team B throws a ball, and somebody from team A throws a ball, and some team B throws a ball, and team A. Okay, so great. So now you look and you measure who's closest to the jack. All right, so let's say these two weren't very close. Okay, so A is really close to the jack. A gets a point. Team A gets another point. Team A gets 3 points. That's the maximum number of points you can have each round. Let's say this guy didn't throw the ball very well. This guy is closer. Okay, so Team A gets a point because he's the closest. Here, put him here over here. Team A is the closest. The next closest is Team B, so Team A only gets 1 point. So there's there's a lot of strategy involved. Oh, this guy, it's his turn up, and he decides he's gonna hit the jack and move it out of the way. Yeah, he moves it over here. Now Team B is the closest. So it's pretty fun. Um, let's get to the easy stuff that you know all about. Okay, soccer, very easy to do, very easy to find a soccer ball someplace and set up two teams. Very easy to play. You probably already have goals set up at your school. That's great. Volleyball. Um, I have a lot of students who play volleyball during the school year. They love it. If nothing else, we can just practice setting. That's keeping the ball up in the air. And you don't even need a net because last year the PE guys took down the net, so I didn't have the net, and I'm just like, okay, we're gonna set today, and they loved that. A couple of years the PE guys forgot to take down this cross net. I'm not sure what you call it, but we were playing volleyball there using Foursquare rules. It's super fun. And Foursquare, I was like, yeah, okay, sure, let's do Foursquare. I've got the chalk because one of my projects is drawing on the sidewalk with chalk for the heart, which I explained in or I'm going to explain in the next video. But Foursquare, the kids haven't played Foursquare since elementary school, and they don't quite remember the rules, so it's a great thing to play. You got chalk. You can, if you have enough balls, you can make sure that there's not much waiting for a turn. But basically, if it gets knocked out of your square, you have to come over here and wait while everybody cycles up one. Kickball. Kickball is great. I love kickball. My students love kickball. And the weird thing is that a lot of them have never played kickball. And they've never played baseball. And as someone who grew up in the 70s and 80s, it seems like such a simple game. But about a decade ago, when I was trying to explain to my students the rules, I realized this is a complicated game and I hadn't realized it. You have to know when to punt. You have to know when you're going to try and kick really far and hope that you don't get a pop fly. And if somebody gets a pop fly and you're on a base, you got to run back to the base that you were just at, and you got to know whom to throw the ball to. And I hadn't realized how complicated it was. But it's really, you don't need any special things other than go down to Target and buy some kickballs, so it wasn't much of a money outlay. I don't like to spend too much money because I teach 50 million different things and I don't have a big budget. But I have accumulated a lot of kickballs now. And yes, sometimes my students break them. Jump rope. I've got lots of jump ropes because in my language classes, El cielo es azul, ¿cuántos años tienes tú? And then I have the students count. So I've got a lot of jump ropes and I teach the kids some, hey, you don't remember this jump rope rhyme, but it's a great one. And then we're going to do all these silly things about teddy bear, touch the sky. Teddy bear, way down low, all that kind of stuff. And the kids, jumping rope is really great for the heart. Ninja dodgeball. Let me try and explain ninja dodgeball, okay? This is one of my students' absolute favorites. So we usually do this on the football field because there's that big circle in the middle, and you can tell I'm a nerd and I don't know anything. I don't know what that big circle in the middle is called. But anyway, let me make this circle big so I can explain this. You've got 3 students. You've said, okay, you guys are the first people on the outside, okay? And everybody else is on the inside of the circle. So the 3 people on the outside, and you can do this with 1 ball, you can do this with 2 balls, you can do this with 3 balls. They're trying to hit the people on the inside, okay? If they hit somebody on the inside, whoop, sorry, you got to be on the outside now. And now you can grab a ball. When the ball falls out, like he throws the ball and it bounces off this guy or whatever, then you can grab it and now you throw the ball, okay? So there gets to be a lot of strategy. If you're in the circle and you catch the ball without it bouncing, okay? If it bounces, if it rolls, if it hits you in the head, you're out, okay? But if you catch it, you're not out. You can turn around and throw it at somebody in the circle. Okay, so they make alliances with each other, which is pretty funny. Throw it to me, throw it to me. And then they try and get the people out. And then the last 3 people in the circle, let's say there's 3 people left in the circle. I say, okay, new round. You 3 guys are the ones outside and everybody else is inside. And they love this game. And, the students who aren't very athletic, they can still be pretty successful in this game because nobody's looking at them at first. So that's good. There's all sorts of tags. All kinds of tag games. The students haven't played tag since they were in elementary school. favorites of my students are hospital tag, toilet tag, animal tag. Okay, let me see if I can describe Gola. They play this a lot at the middle school, and the students love it so much. My students love it so much who've come from our middle school, but I get a lot of students from other districts. Most of my students are from other districts during summer school, and they've never played it before. And my students love introducing them to this. So, I chose pictures of student people being in the crab walk position, but you could be kneeling. So get your students in groups of 16, okay? And within the group of 16, there's 4 per side, 4 per team, okay? So you need, for my class of 32 summer school students, I need 2 balls, okay? Um, let's say this side over here is side number 1, okay? They get the ball, they get to throw it out. They're going to try and get it either in the corner between these groups, or they're going to try and get it between here, because when it goes between and they don't kick it back into the middle, then this whole team has to go back to the beginning, and then this team moves up, okay? If this team misses the ball, okay, then they have to go all the way back to the beginning, and then this team moves to here, and then this team moves to here. All right, so this is the top position. And if somebody gets it past them, well, they have to go over here, and everybody else moves up. So it's kind of like Foursquare rules where you move up. But the students really love this, and strangely, they want to play it because they're sitting down. They're either kneeling or they're in the like crab walk position, and they think, oh, that's going to be easy. But strangely, it's really, really athletic because the ball starts going really fast. You've got to kick it back in, and you can make rules that you can use your hands or not use your hands, whatever you want to do. But it gets, and then getting up and then walking and then sitting down again, and then getting up and then walking and then sitting down again. They get tired pretty quickly, but it's a great game for our exercise break. All right, and then I don't know why my thing is not formatted properly. There we go. I lean into what your students like. It was maybe my 4th year teaching health, and I overheard 2 of the students talking about cricket. And so I went up to them, and I got the sense that they played cricket a lot. And I said, bring your bats tomorrow, okay? And they did. They brought their bats. And what followed was the next 3 weeks, minus the 2 days it had been that we'd started the class, we just played cricket every single day. They taught us how to play cricket. Everyone was so enthralled with it. It was my favorite moment was we had the star pitcher from one of the rival schools in my health class, and he, like, watching him learn to play cricket, and then suddenly the light bulb goes off over his head after like 3 days, 4 days. The light bulb goes off over his head, and he realizes how he needs to change his muscles, the difference between baseball and cricket. And then he dominated, of course, but it was like, wow, this is amazing. It was so much fun. And I think what the students liked the most was when the first day when they're teaching everyone how to do it, and then all the students had their chance, and then I got up and I'm like, okay, now show me what to do. And they were like, you're an old lady, you want to do this? I'm like, yes, of course I do. And I think just me modeling the behavior and being interested in something that they loved, it was like, so many students wrote about this during their final exam. They were just so thrilled about it. There was one girl who, she said, I'm the worst Indian ever because I've never learned to play cricket. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I was like, yeah, great. So those are just some of the games that my students enjoy. And, I'm always adding to it. I'm always adapting and everything, because each year is different. Some years they just want to play kickball. Some years they get bored of kickball after one day and they just want to do ninja dodgeball, or they don't want to do ninja dodgeball every single day, but they want to do it a couple of days and they want to do something else, and they want to switch it up, and that's great because it's a health class. I'm trying to teach them how to be healthy, and if I can teach them to enjoy getting out and playing a game and socializing while they play the game, so much the better. So I'll see you on the next one.